like, we could, like, well, I don't know what it was, but,
Let's put something together, and, just even on the website, let's put together what is the concepts, right? And then what is being done now, what problem are you solving?
transparency, I guess you could say, transparency, and accountability, and investment.
And just control.
And control,
Control.
and what's being done now? And look at any use cases with
Well,
somebody's
now
doing
they have
something.
like board meetings and stuff like that, but that's like, can't be as frequent or really as transparent.
But you should look at what is being done now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is that, what are new
Well-
use and are you using the blockchain with this or no?
Well,
Yeah, we're using the blockchain to track the, I guess, transactions.
So look for blockchain uses.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what the
Investment.
speaker
Yeah.
talked about.
Right,
companies
but-
are starting to like streamline their information, so people get the information.
Right, but I'm just saying,
faster.
but look for blockchain, an investor, basically uses of blockchain that people are doing for investments,
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
not too for investment.
So do you think otherwise it's, doable?
I think this is more narrow than what you were thinking,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
did
I didn't have a
before.
central idea.
Yeah, then basically thinking I'm taking on all the banks and I'm taking on all the other idea would be, or like even that guy that we talked about, that Moy, what he was doing on the money, he was doing basically using just the Bitcoin for collateral for a loan. So he's giving a traditional loan, but I'm gonna use
Yeah, but
Bitcoin.
he charges like double what the,
Did you look at it?
yeah, I mean, it's mostly for people who wanna buy Bitcoin.
Is it, I thought it was for others too, that I just have some Bitcoin.
Maybe,
And
yeah,
then,
it's competitor. for-
yeah,
but-
I thought his was, where I want a loan, I'll get a loan, and I can even get like a micro loan. Check it. But this may be better. I like the second one better. You don't have to be in the, you're not gonna be in the lending business, you know what I mean? But this one, in terms of investors, entrepreneurs, new ideas, you know what I mean, that you could even set it up and then you present it to investors, they may like it because they have,
Oh, yeah, it's built for them.
it's built for them, they can see it. Okay, I like that better. Okay, so let's set something up and then we'll look at the website on Wednesday, just in the beginning, to set up something, you know, that you
Yeah.
can start. Okay, next.
You have a Gmail?
Yeah.
Alright.
My next
So I'm just
patient.
gonna let it start tonight or whatever.
He was good, no, Justin, I really liked him.
BT.
Yes, sir, what you think?
Oh, yeah.
He was good, wasn't he? So we need more of that. Okay, so,
Send.
I mean, I
Okay.
really kind of.
Thanks.
so basically I was confused.
I think we're trying to develop, but we're still kind of figuring it out. I think we
Okay.
were more clear at first, but now I think even we're a little bit shaky about it.
Okay,
It was originally like a more secure form of like doing online transactions, because yes, most of them are sort of secure, but they all have their flaws, and that's something that we kind of mentioned in the paper with certain ones, like there was like with Samsung, the fact that they use like tokens and like, it was kind of shaky.
and how are
because
you
it
gonna
was-
make this more secure? Do you have the background to make it more secure than Apple Pay or Samsung? Do you have the,
We were thinking of maybe just like attempting to sort of merge whatever like their strength is, because like for example, Apple Pay, their main problem is that I could take her phone right now, and just like, I don't think it's working. Do you have your Apple Pay here?
Yeah, I do, it's just like sometimes shows.
Like, you know,
Okay.
it shows on here,
Right.
so it's very easy for you to hack, or like
okay,
certain ones like where you use a certain method, like we think like for example maybe like having like your Touch ID would be more secure in certain cases, but we know not every phone uses that. So I'm not 100% sure where or what we would specifically do, but we're just thinking of like
what's your major?
what
What is your major?
marketing.
What is your,
Management and finance.
what is your economics? Right? You like this idea?
I mean, I actually kinda do though.
What about you?
I don't know how we like actually do it, but,
See, that's my point.
I mean, are the rest of these groups actually gonna like code their own blockchain stuff? Like,
Not coded, but at least have more of a sense. I don't need you to code it, but I want it to be that people come to you and say, hey, this is a group
Mhm.
that you can successfully get a team together to enhance this. I'm not expecting you necessarily, when you have a group of people that are gonna do it, that you're the coders, but that when I'm gonna invest in a team, I'm investing in, you have the passion, and you have the background, and you have the capabilities, and I don't know, in something like this, it's looking at your strength versus maybe, and if you wanna keep on the blockchain arena, maybe blockchain, something around what students are doing, blockchain around education, or blockchain in marketing or management. So, I don't wanna completely tell you, you know, I don't want you to do this, but I'm wondering where you have that strength of looking at this, and you know, over Apple versus saying, hey, you know, we're really heavy into, you know, cybersecurity, and we really know these flaws, and all I need is then programmers for this cybersecurity. And versus if, you know, I take a group where they're gonna do forecast, their finance, and they're gonna do forecasting, taking like what we did with some of the forecasts, and they're gonna expand upon that and looking at some of the forecast and getting other strategies from around the world into their site, and they'll evaluate the strategies. They may not, this group may not write the strategies, but they can run the strategies and tell, hey, this is a winning, this is now, I'm up 15% or 20%, and these are the good ones working now. Now I'm trying out the strategies, and then I can get other people from around the world to contribute, and then I can get a group of people to program it. Or the ones that are studying in finance, and they're gonna think about their idea of real estate and putting part of the, you know, titles and deeds, and we'll work on the conceptual part of reducing the middleman in blockchain. Or another group's gonna do online, you know, doing tutoring for students. You know, and matching students with others in tutoring. Another group was gonna do mental health. You know, people that are stressed before the exams and helping with stress. If you wanna pursue this, you can, that's my only, and I don't wanna spend so much time that we'll spend, you know, we're ready at the end of October, so we have basically November to work on it, you know, that I want it to be, but I wanted something that you guys can conclude that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about this, go for it. And you know what I mean? And then can say that these are, I'm evaluating these, and these seem to be, maybe in a way, finding areas that you're evaluating some of these and giving feedback to companies maybe of where their deficiencies are in terms of we're trying it out and giving feedback for those deficiencies.
So,
But you're the decision makers, you know what I mean? I'm giving you just feedback that later on when, if you're gonna go for a job interview or you're gonna go take this, I want you to take this with you rather than I did a silly project in the class, so I had to fulfill the requirements and we just came up with something.
so, if we're, like, if we're gonna do something related to blockchain, then, I don't know, could it be something like, we could study, like, we could, like, search whatever, like how big companies like implement blockchain and like how they work with it, and how we could implement that into small companies, like something like that. That would be an idea, sometime.
You refined it, yeah, you've done all this and now you think, you know, they're gonna be using blockchain among, banks, and now it's somebody, I just met somebody, they're gonna do credit unions, and they're gonna do blockchains with credit unions, and they're just gonna do it within credit unions themselves, rather, almost like a private blockchain, and they're a way to communicate with credit unions. You can. You gotta figure out what, you know. Most of all of these blockchain uses, think about it, they're uses now, meaning that they're almost in a way case study pilots. Very few are actually up and running, you know, the classic one is shipping. You know, Maersk, you know, when they have the steamer ships and they're gonna be, taking the products and finding out where were those products along the routes, or, you know, one is in terms of food processing, where now Del Monte or the others, remember, where was my lettuce? Where did it go along the route? And since it replicates, I can really say, I can really track along the chain, where were those, you know, where was the supply chain, basically. Supply chain is a classic blockchain, because it's where has it been tracked? They've always done it like in diamonds, or, you know, where I don't wanna have, fraudulent, practices, or fair trade. I wanna make sure that those products have gone through a fair trade practice and have not been exploitations done. So that those are traditional blockchains, or things in terms of, they've been thinking about voting, you know, has been classic on blockchain, that I have immutable, or they're thinking also on, government, where I have deeds, titles.
You pick an idea that's like in a different country and then it's applied to the US.
Possibility.
It's like I know in China, they use of like, kind of have like, basically credit scores for like, yeah, but just do like the use of like, like Uber, or like Airbnb, it's like just like combining ratings from like that sort of thing. It's like a.
So
like
what's the problem here?
sharing economy credit score for like peer-to-peer lending, or like if you're doing like a, I don't know, like, cause like you can get points or whatever in China if you like tag, like, you know those scooters they have around here, if you like tag a bike and like say where it is, just like add that data to the thing, you can get like pretty value token or whatever for it.
You can think about it in terms of education.
In terms of education.
If we took this class, right, and if we're broadcasting now the class, and we broadcasted it throughout the world,
Yeah.
you can come in anonymously, and let's say we had, in the beginning, you would wanna check out a number of classes. You could check, you could come into the class, check it out, you could observe it, and if you really liked it, because in some, you know, you may go into a class and say, you know, this is too slow for me, this is too over my head, hey, I really like this, and once you got into it, one of the things you may be able to do is almost you could get micro credits. That, let's say I'm continuing professional, let's say I'm an attorney, right, I need continuing professional education. So let's say we had a couple of lectures on blockchain and the law. I could take some of those, and instead of going for the entire semester, I could get then, instead of 3 credits, I could get maybe a third of a credit. And then, or I wanna take the class and I really like the class, now if I were in China or if I were in Europe, I could go to like a testing center, or like an embassy or something, consulate, take the test, and then get credit from the university. We only could fit 40 students into this class. And then the students that were in the class if there were a number of people chatting and asking questions, we could say, Greta, you could then say, hey, I wanna participate, I have my cell phone here, I wanna participate, I'll moderate the chats. And then she possibly then could get rewarded on some kind of token, getting rewarded for participating in the class. Not only are you in the class, but you can participate by asking, you know, and then maybe you want to tutor some of the students. They didn't understand how to do the forecast. You could, if you were helping them, you could get possible additional ways in which to do it. So they have like those they're doing like peer-to-peer, kind of like that micro lending. You can even look at it in blockchain, even doing it here, people that don't have bank accounts, even, you know, the people that are doing paycheck, all those, have you ever seen those paycheck places where they pay a lot of interest? Check cashing places that you go to now, and people are needing, you know, loans.
Sure.
That you can think about possibilities, yeah, you could look at something like that, but seeing where is there the need, and you can come conceptually with it. And I want you to be excited about it, you know, that you can say, hey, that's a really neat idea, I can reach out to it. And this one, I know, you know, like the Apple Pay, the Samsung, and now what am I gonna do? Say that these are the deficiencies, basically, of these. And we're suggesting a couple of the others.
I mean, what we were thinking at first,
Yeah.
was like, just like taking all the efficiencies from all of them and just like trying to make one, like, I don't know, trying to make
You
some-
got like a prototype of them, I guess.
Yeah, I think that we might be right.
You know what I mean? Because of those deficiencies, it's like, really, this, you could almost go to somebody and say, this would be really hard to say, I got these deficiencies, but,
I think it could work sort of like, you know, like kind of like a reward system based thing, where like it qualifies you with certain like criteria, and depending on your level, you kind of access certain benefits that you might not have before.
Like the price could be lower, cause like, your risk, it's like the same with like a loan, like with a credit
Kind
card.
of like you're more credible,
Yeah, so
thus
like-
you get certain
I like that
benefits.
one better.
The cost of like taking out one of those scooters
Right. I
should
already
be lower,
have
cause
it.
there's like less risk of you stealing it, cause.
How would you do research on that though? Because I know you want like a backing of it, like would we try to research like what they do in China and then implement that and just like try to make it better?
Right, well, first we'll see what they're doing, is something like China, see what are other, basically looking at the competition, right? China, the world is the competition now, and we're basically, it's different ways, of course, and then there's cultural aspects, right? What they do in China, it works differently than what they're gonna do in the United States, and even, you know, in the United States, certain things work differently in certain parts, but definitely, the United States works differently than, you know,
No,
China said you can implement it. And you can do variations, doesn't have to be exactly
Sure.
In their,
what it is, but you can take that idea, you know, of this, it's been successful.
in their system, it's very, it's a lot harsher, I feel like, because they do things like if you jaywalk,
Well,
they lose points.
it's basically, it's not a democracy.
Well, yeah, it's controlled by the government rather than. like-
Right,
So
right,
we would,
centralized.
we would probably just modify it to be based more on rewards versus like penalties.
Or make it more decentralized.
Yeah.
The blockchain.
Okay, I think that's, do you understand my,
Yeah.
because I want it for you guys, not just, and for this, it's like, where am I gonna go with this?
And this is something that hasn't been implemented here, so I think it has a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, and then possibly you could actually go, you know, and see what, and try to even see here what's the closest, even in the States, what is, because the whole credit market is being infiltrated. Now with the fintech, that whole idea, people are trying to, look at fintech apps, and they're trying to eliminate a lot of the bureaucracy, a lot of the middle layers, and going through that. I like that better. So we basically, we're at a disadvantage, but I'd even do it maybe kind of combining. Create the, I don't wanna hold you up in terms of kind of get the proposal down, and then even start with the website, the beginning, and you can change the website. So don't feel that it's not, that's the beauty, it's not set and go, but at least you can start looking at it. You can pass it on to other people, and people can give you feedback, and even each other can give you feedback. Hey, we're looking at this. And then you keep on adding.
Would it be okay for us to like use like what you said, where like you compile every like, you know how you have like Uber ratings or like Airbnb, like that to base off your score? Like could we use that idea as well?
Yeah.
To like implement how credible you are?
Oh, you mean take your Uber rating?
Like just like add them
But
up
how
and
are you
get a
gonna,
score.
so, let's say I'm going to be, you're gonna get my Uber score? How are you gonna get my Uber score?
You have to directly contact the companies in theory, but
I don't think the Uber's gonna give you what's incentive for, first of all, I don't know in terms of we think about privacy, but it's not is it public information, my Uber score? It's not like, that I'm sharing, that I have a credit score that, banks can,
see, you know, every-
banks getting my credit score, but I don't think Uber is sharing their
customer rating.
customer ratings, with other companies, you know what I mean? And if they were, maybe it's de-identifying, I don't know what policy you have. We have with Uber, when we sign up, is my Uber rating, I think they're drivers
Yeah, drivers you can. see.
drive, and I guess the Uber drivers, when they're gonna pick me up, they see what rating I have, whether they'll pick me up, But I don't know if it's gonna be public, so it's not like that type of data. So it's that thing of, and now, on, the European, privacy, the GDPR is what's gonna be really available to share. And it looks like the tendency people are, thinking now on their social media, they are selling the data, and really it's out there. There's a lot of these firms that you don't even know that they have all your data, you know what I mean? They can really tell based on a number of things about you, and Google knows so much about you, right? And Amazon now, think about it, how much now with the Whole Foods, right, and everything else, they have a lot, right? And even where you are, right, your location.
Your location services app.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so everybody has that data, or whether you can say, I'm gonna set that up and add more of those. But I like the second idea, here, take this back, rather than this, because then you can, and it's also more creative for you. Where this one, you're stuck,
I feel like
whatever.
it's more limited.
One is, it's hard to say, I'm gonna really improve it, because you don't know what the behind the scenes is, and two, what are you gonna add to? You're not contributing anything creative to it, and then next year, already everybody's improving all the time, so what you say today is gonna be obsolete for their new version. And you're always gonna be dependent on them with what they come up with, versus this is almost like you're owning it.
So do we have to come up with a solution for, like, how to get data from, like, Airbnb or something like that, or?
Well, if you're gonna use Airbnb, you have to find out, can you get data from Airbnb versus, that's the question. You can get data, probably even scraping data on posts of
Yeah,
Airbnb,
but not the-
because that's
Yeah.
public, right? But me as a user of Airbnb, do I publish that?
I mean, hypothetically, since this
Right.
is sort of like a rewards-based idea,
Right.
but if it's like a partnership, like with each company, where like the rewards that you receive are based on the company that we're getting information from, like, let's say like, I don't know, like. you have-
Airbnb,
Like, let's say you have a good score, you get a better deal on a rental for something, and they give us information as incentive. Would that be done? Or are you?
the thing is their idea, you have to find out almost like on their privacy is, if I sign up for Airbnb or any of these services, do they have the right to share my data with these other companies?
So just to confirm,
Yeah,
is it like, for example, like Waze, when you like tell the app like where their stops or like where their
Yeah.
traffic and stuff, like you
Uh-huh.
get points and reward, you will be getting tokens. Okay. Yeah, yeah. That,
You have a more complete idea,
yeah.
something we
That
can
makes
expand
sense.
on one.
yeah, I like it better. And you can add your own
Twist to it.
twist to it, and it doesn't have to be so technical, like trying to do, I don't know, like that, I like it better. And it's easier to explain to somebody. And if we had a group the last week, we had a group of investors sitting in the first row, they'd be more bound to invest with you guys in the second idea than the first.
Sure. I'll start to work on it then. Thank you.
Thanks.
My pleasure. Hopefully I help.
Yes. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too.
Even in
So should we, should we write up a, like, proposal for you or something?
Yeah, write up a short proposal, but you know what I do since we're here together? I write up a short proposal just for yourselves,
Okay.
that you can upload, that this is our proposal, but at the same time, start the website already.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to wait another
Yeah.
session to give you,
And we just have to do the
So we do
team
that in
section.
Wix?
what?
We just have to do the team section of the website, for the website.
Yeah,
Okay.
when,
Wix.
yeah, you can use anything, but
Sure.
Wix is,
Wix is easy, yeah.
Wix is easy, it's up and running, and it looks already nice,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the background, you can at least have a smile on your face, that you look somewhat professional, and then we'll worry about, we'll get the content deeper, but at least
Yeah.
we'll start.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And then when you put the URL on your project, you know, that you can see already.
We don't have to like buy a domain,
No,
we
you
can just
know,
use the Wix.
you
dot
use the
org,
regular
whatever.
Wix, you know,
Okay.
later on when we get investors, then we'll buy the.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye. So, how are you? Do you wanna get your mic? Yeah, how are you? Everything goes wrong, but it's okay. Yeah, so the link that I was trying to use didn't come up, so I just created my own quickly and then published it to. Yes, I did it in the class, I was doing it. And then the guy never showed up, he sent me an email that he got stuck in traffic and he got a flat tire. And then the woman that was supposed to be here didn't show up. You know how everything is, so. Right, and so with the students, I made sure I had some time to sit with some of the students about their project, to help them with their project, to give them feedback. Okay? What? Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna just, put together, I'm gonna wait another 10 minutes, in case you came at 7. About 7:15. Yeah. Okay, and then I'll go to Trader Joe's, and then you can go to the wellness center. Bye. So, change your bag, because you have the t-shirts and stuff. Bye. I'm closing off, I'm shutting down.